Hello, everyone. Welcome to Midweek Gaming. I'm Nick over on the other side of the comms, of course. Justin providing gameplay and audio commentary and just regular commentary wherever he wants to.
Gentlemen.
Welcome to the show where we talk about video games, video game industry, and all off script. So if we sounds crazy and rambly, no, that is part of your content.
Don't
That is not a
worry
mistake.
about it.
That is what we call in the Bethesda business not a bug, but a feature.
A very good feature.
But anyways, so yeah, welcome everybody. Big news came out of the games industry a few weeks back. I don't know how this slipped the net, but it's only begun getting talked about recently, and you're probably going to hear this. It's already probably blown up in all the other news sites, but we're covering it late. We would have covered this earlier, but housekeeping. But we'll get to that after the video. Anyways, so big news is China. We all know China, right? they're the big country out east that's kind of also a continent that kind of also runs half the planet and owns everything else. Yeah, them. Uh, they released new video game laws around gaming. Why is that important? Well, two reasons. Number one, two of the biggest companies in the world, NetEase and Tencent, are based in China. And if you're based in China, it's kind of like the what I heard about the not the IPC, the Peacekeepers of Dying Light 2. You play by the rules or you get effed. That is how China works. If you live in China, you will do as the
You will
government
play
tells
by
you.
the rules, and sometimes, even by playing by the rules, mistakes are made.
But anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of power in China when it comes to everything, including the video games industry. And these new rules that China released, because I guess China hates video gaming, were received about as warmly as a sack of coal on Christmas. Very bad. So to be more specific, the new rules implemented by China would, in according to this, curb spending. Is aiming at least to curb spending and rewards that encourage video games and in game replayability. Oh my goodness! Here, let me put it to you this way. Let me just rephrase that. And I quote from the article again. Links in the description below from Retrus. Retrus, I believe they call themselves. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. Anyways, and I quote: "The new rules will effectively set spending limits for online games, as well as, and I'm unquoting at this point. Dot 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 dot." As well as get rid of any rules that will here's a better description. Online games will now be banned from giving players rewards if they log in every day, and if they spend on a game for the first time or if they spend several times on the game consecutively. All are common incentive measures in online gaming. End quote. So basically what they're trying to do is curb spending by, for example, getting rid of daily login bonuses, which is what this rule specifically addresses. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, a lot of people log into games for online login bonuses. So you're probably thinking, okay, sure, that'll affect the Chinese market, but what about everyone else? Why is it so big? Well, because this affects Tencent, like I said, and NetEase. Why is that important? Because remember what I said at the beginning of this video? China owns everything. Yeah, that includes the video game industry. Tencent, for example, owns a good chunk of pretty much every big video game company in the world. If Justin can display it, just a quick look of the companies that Tencent owns shares in. You can maybe see, maybe not see. Justin, how are you? Are you able to do anything on that front?
It's
All right,
there.
there we go. And this is just the list that my phone can display. This is not all of them. This is just the quick list. There is more on that list too. So every one of these games, or any one of these companies, if they have a majority share owned by Tencent, might have to basically get rid of any online login incentives because the Chinese government says so. Because, like I said, if Tencent does not comply, the Chinese government will mess them up. So, yeah. Going back to how this was received, like I said, poorly. Strictly speaking, Tencent's share price dropped 16%, and NetEase plunged about as much as 25%. So, not good. Specifically, and I quote, shares of tech investor Porus followed Tencent, losing 14.2% in early trade on Friday. and was among the biggest fallers on the Pan European Stock Index, basically the stock index for others. And POIS, for those who don't know, is actually the company who owns Tencent and who owns about a 26% stake. So even the guys who own Tencent got a pretty decent hit out of this. Needless to say, it isn't going over well. And the way I hear it, China is pulling back on this after they realize just how much they might have crapped the bed. So we'll see. But they're still going through with these changes. Let me make one thing clear. They're pulling back some of this, but they're still keeping the baseline here. So, yeah. And more interestingly enough, games like Warframe, for those who don't know, I'm a big Warframe player, they are made by DE. And I believe either DE or their parent company has like a 60% something share owned by Tencent. So this is possibly going to impact Warframe as well as games like Star Rail and Genshin, which are straight up made by Chinese developers. So off the Tencent ramble for a minute, they'll possibly have to, remove the daily login bonuses. And yeah, that's going to be if you play MMOs, anyone knows there's a lot of login bonuses. And I'm not just talking about your straight up like, hey, log in today and you get like,
Get X
get
deal
prizes.
now. No,
Yeah,
like
no. It is straight up like anything that is like on a daily basis low. For example, hell, even weekly stuff might get affected. Like if you're in Destiny, I don't think Destiny's gonna get affected because I don't think they have any shares to my knowledge because they're owned by Sony, and I don't think Sony's on the list. They're like a whole other corporation. But just to use them as an example, for example, weekly kind of rewards might get scrapped as well altogether for a bit of a comparison there for my Destiny fans in the crowd. So your weekly pinnacles, for example, might have to go.
yeah.
Again, bit of an example, might not be entirely how it plays out, but it's pretty much.
I mean, it would be interesting in the case of Destiny and weekly pinnacles, considering the fact that those aren't really login rewards, but
No, it
they
really would depend on
it would be interesting to really look into the actual nuances of the law, because knowing how things like that work in China would actually probably look at things like, ah, yes, rewards that you get bi-weekly or whatever, those can go. So
Yeah,
yeah, I have a feeling that kind of thing would probably end up happening.
again, like I said, it won't happen to Destiny. I just use it as an example, but it is interesting to know. And funny enough, if memory serves, I believe the actual legalese does specifically mention login bonuses. So daily stuff would definitely be on the chopping block.
Mm.
And like I said, this is kind of one of another of China's continuing attempts to go to war with the video games industry, which might I just say is ironic as all hell because, like I said, Tencent owns 90% of the games industry, as you can see, or at least a good chunk of it. And NetEase basically owns a good chunk of the mobile space. And so they're making a good bit of bank off of the video games industry. But at the same time, it seems China is doing everything in their power to promptly kill off the games industry.
Yes.
So it's like finding a dollar bill and promptly throwing it in the trash. Like, they're making money, but apparently that isn't enough for them. Morals are apparently more
More
important.
money is needed, please and thank you.
Well, that's the thing. They don't want more money because if they did, they wouldn't do anything even close to this. Like, can you imagine these kinds of laws being implemented in the US? Like,
Wouldn't go
there's
well.
a lot of there's a lot of companies in the US that are in the video games industry, and I imagine video games make a ton of money in the US in the US. And I mean that's just factoring in the game sales itself. Let's not even go into like ad revenue and this and that and all the nuances that go around it. But like I said, it is hilarious to see China go to war with the video games industry while simultaneously profiting a metric F ton off the video games industry. So it is what it is, I suppose. China has just never liked video games in general. I personally believe. I know one thing. They are trying to create a more moral society, I think they would probably say. And they're trying to do, like, for example, they have long attempted to curb spending in video games. They're one of the hardest crackdowns on, like, I don't know, gambling and shit like that in video games. Like, they feel like the hardest people who would go after that. They certainly want to, like, curve Because, functional citizens don't play video games, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that.
Good people who contribute do not play game.
Do not play game.
Do not
You
play game.
you grow potato.
You do
You grow potato.
You grow carrot,
You grow
potato, cabbage, and that is it.
Dude, I'm getting like the freaking what is it, the venture capitalist like app commercial in my head right now. Grow potato. Hire people to grow more potato. Adventure capitalist.
POV, you are playing Farmville, but real life.
Honestly. But like I said, this is interesting to see. We'll have to see how this shakes up. One of the big things that might be used in companies' defenses against this, I can certainly see this being used. And again, in business and especially in law, both of these fields, exact words matter. The fact that they're calling out daily login incentives or login bonuses in their actual legalese states that technically, and then this is a big thing, there's a lot of technicalities in law, ladies and gentlemen. Companies could get around this by simply saying, well, that ain't a daily login bonus. Like, again, kind of my example with Destiny. Do you consider your weekly pinnacles a login bonus? Probably not. And that might be exactly what they use. Like, could companies spin that in a way where they can be like, yeah, no, that ain't a daily login bonus. Why that's not encouraging them. So again, we'll see how this shakes out, but I found that just incredibly fascinating when I heard about that. I'm like, wow, the games industry and the gaming space, like especially in the MMO or multiplayer game genre, which is again where you generally see most of these login bonuses, is going to change quite a bit. Now, that's not to say there aren't login bonuses in other games. Hell, even I think single player games that have like a bit of a spending element or something might give you login bonuses. Again, that's just me guesstimating. I can't remember anything off the top of my head.
Can't tell for 100% certainty.
I'm sure I've seen them, but don't take my words as gospel here. I cannot remember any off the top of my head. But I do know at least the MMO space is going to change quite a bit. Or at least the multiplayer space in general. Because like I said, a lot of multiplayer games give login incentives. So we will see how that pans out. But yeah, that's kind of the news we have, ladies and gentlemen. First video of the year, and we're already getting it off to a real fun start. Wait, no, this is our second video of the year. Correction.
I was gonna say that.
Correction.
Hold on there, sir.
I'm still thinking it's like January 9th or something. I don't know. I'm still like 1 week behind. It's been a very hectic week. And this is the part of the housekeeping I mentioned before. So if you're into the channel, stay on. If you're not, see you in the next one, I guess. But for those who are interested, again, I like to be transparent with you guys on this channel, always. We're both in college. I think I can say that and Justin won't mind. But he's going to say that. You shouldn't have said that afterwards. But anyways, this is our first week back from the winter break. And our particular college, because we both go to the same college, fun fact, they're crappy when it comes to doing anything with schedules. They are a bloody nightmare. So between that and
you can take mine for example. I've got a 4-hour long class, and it's first thing in the morning. So yeah,
again,
yeah.
Honestly, bro. Hey man, I had 3 classes all at 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 days consecutively, and I think the 4th day was on 9 a.m. So yeah, these people do not give a.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's either first thing in the morning or very, very, very late in the afternoon. And it's like, why? But why? Why are you like this?
Thankfully, mine got changed around, so I don't have that anymore, but the point still stands. So we're currently in the middle of trying to figure out what days work for recording and which days don't. I think it'll be mostly on my schedule, because I've seen yours, Justin, and yours is pretty open compared to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, but that'll depend on your work as well. But we'll see. Again, we're still in the middle of it. Expect things to iron themselves out in the coming weeks. I expect as the weeks go on, we're going to get more and more consecutive, but that's why we've been kind of pushing these uploads to the wire recently. Because especially over the last 2 weeks, we've been kind of trying to figure out scheduling. So expect that to iron that stuff out. I imagine by 2 or 3 videos into this year going forward, we're going to have that fine. or at least 2 or 3 videos from now, I should say. And definitely by the end of February, it'll be all fixed out. But yeah, in case you're wondering why our uploads are like so late and why we're uploading Saturday despite calling ourselves Midweek Gaming, now you know. It's a scheduling thing.
Yeah, there are some very rare moments where we could go and do videos on Wednesdays, but I don't know if he's able to do a video on Wednesday. I know I could, but I don't know about him.
Yeah, my schedule is pretty hectic. I like my Tuesday is my off day, but he cannot do Tuesday, so.
Well, actually, no. Looking it
Well, no, you
over
can
now,
kind of
technically we could do a video on Wednesday. It's just
do.
you'd have to wake up early.
And again, I'm very. I don't know if I
Sleepy,
can do
sleepy
that.
boy, sleepy boy.
But anyways, that's all from us, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you're wondering why our scheduling's been a bit weird lately in our video content, don't worry, we're still gonna get you stuff
We're
at
here.
least once
We're
a
still
week.
here.
Hopefully,
We're not gone. We're just doing a thing. We're
we're
doing a
doing a thing.
thingy thing in which we provide you content in a very unorthodox way.
Anyways,
Don't worry about it.
So have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen, because it's freaking Saturday by the time we're recording this. Or have a good week, or have a good morning, or have a good night, whenever you're watching this. And see you all in the next one. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual stuff. I know I'm slapping that in at the very end, but it feeds
Do it,
the
do it,
algorithm.
do it. Feed the algorithm.
Feed the algorithm.
Feed
We gotta
the
like
AI.
dude. If we ever do merch, we gotta have like T-shirts that just be like "Feed the algorithm."
Feed the AI. Feed the algorithm.
Feed the
Give
AI.
me more.
Let's see if we can get to 30 subscribers by February. I want to see it. But anyways, have a good day, everyone, or whatever it is in your time zone. Bye bye.